We told you last night if you could stomach a Democrat debate, this would be the one to go through. We did, and watched the commentary afterwards to see the MSNBC meltdown, the CNN meltdown, because they thought Mike Bloomberg could be their savior to keep Bernie Sanders from the nomination, because they believe that a Bernie Sanders nomination is a certain victory for President Trump. I look at that whole stage, and I see almost like a certain victory for President Trump. And I'm not the only one who said that, by the way. Let's play Bret Baier right now, because Bret Baier's immediate analysis, I think, was spot on. One, with who won the debate, and two, what happened to Mike Bloomberg after spending over $300 million, almost looking like the Wizard of Oz, but now more like the uncovered Wizard of Oz at the end of the movie. Take a listen.
The biggest winner tonight, Donald Trump. This moment of seeing the Democrats go at each other was a moment where Mike Bloomberg, for all of the ads and all of the money, was sort of like the Wizard of Oz when they finally go and pull back the curtain and they realize it's this guy. He's not the guy in the ads. Right. And it felt a little bit like that.
Bloomberg's not even on the ballot this weekend, and he's not on the ballot in South Carolina either. So he's still got 2 more weeks until people go and actually vote for him, and Bernie Sanders is just building up momentum. The fact that the Democrat Party in America is having a debate between whether we should be socialist or whether we should praise capitalism in general, not that everything's perfect, but in general, and he gets a golf clap. Take a listen.
Mayor Bloomberg, you own a large company. Would you support what Senator Sanders is proposing?
Absolutely not. I can't think of ways that would make it easier for Donald Trump to get reelected than listening to this conversation. It's ridiculous. We're not going to throw out capitalism. We tried that. Other countries tried that. It was called communism, and it just didn't work.
Well, I mean, it's pretty. I mean, you got to give him. I mean,
that was probably his best line.
That was probably his best line. They didn't like it. They didn't like it because, Harry, the socialists that are there, of which, Elizabeth Warren, I guess, is now saying she's kind of like one, and Bernie Sanders is being unapologetic in his democratic socialism. But, I mean, all the incoming was clearly aimed at one person.
I think that is correct. So the Democratic Party is fragmented. They are, generally speaking, incoherent except for their support for socialist policies that actually favor the elites. And so we have Bernie Sanders, who left his 3 homes and his multi-million-dollar bank account in order to lecture the rest of us about wealth and the evils of capitalism. But on the other hand, Mayor Bloomberg had a disastrous performance. This is a guy that allowed his Titanic campaign to be hit by an iceberg. And he then compounded his error because he thought he was attending a spelling bee. But it was a calculus exam.
Well, I heard someone wrote, it was like Mayor Bloomberg brought his wallet to a knife fight. I mean, it was horrendous. Let me tell you, we played some good moments from Bloomberg. Oh,
you played the best moments from Bloomberg. Trust me.
The rest of it was disastrous.
When you look at what'll happen down ticket in the United States Senate, the United States House, as Bernie Sanders is on the top of the ticket running against Donald Trump, I think you are going to see a red wave come November. And honestly, Jay, I think that's why the DNC is so desperate. I mean, they're so desperate that they're turning to a man who is skipping their first 4 states and has been a Republican for most of his life to try to run against Bernie Sanders. And by the way, here was the other interesting thing to me on this point, Jay. Last night when they asked the question about will the delegate leader coming into convention, will you support that person if it goes to a second ballot? Bernie Sanders was the only person on that stage that said that, which says they are open at convention to nominating someone that doesn't come in with a lead. Pretty telling.
The amount of money that Bloomberg has and his capability thus to run through the entire primary season here. Virginia, for instance, he's the only one up on ads. South Carolina, he owns the ad market. California, he owns the ad market. He got hurt in that debate, but does he have enough money that it won't matter? Or is it the Jeb Bush problem, where Jeb had a lot of money, but just couldn't connect?